Israel's new Prime Minister Yair Lapid has met French President Emmanuel Macron on his maiden foreign trip to Paris as the leader of the caretaker government in Tel Aviv. Macron received Lapid at the Élysée Palace. During the meeting, the French president pressed the need for talks between Israel and the Palestinians and added that despite Israeli opposition to the idea of reviving the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, negotiations with Tehran need to succeed.
There is no alternative to a restart of political dialogue between Israelis and Palestinians. I know how much you could make a mark in history by restarting a process that has been long at a halt. I'm aware of the difficulties, I'm aware of the obstacles, and I know of the shortcuts that have sometimes been taken, but from experience I can say and attest that you have qualities of the one who could rise up to this challenge.
Macron's comments came after Lapid urged the world to respond to Iran's violations of the nuclear deal.
It's also important that the international community know that with regard to Iran's nuclear issue, the Israeli society stands together as one, in one unified position presented to the international community. We will also discuss, of course, what happened recently in front of Lebanon's shores. There were repeated attacks on Israeli gas rigs. Israel will not accept such kind of attacks on its sovereignty, and anyone doing it should know that they are taking an unnecessary risk. Lebanon's government must curb such attacks by Hezbollah, or else we shall be forced to do so.
That stern warning from the Israeli leader came after Lebanon's Hezbollah launched 3 drones towards an offshore gas field in the eastern Mediterranean. Condemning the attack, Lapid said Hezbollah is continuing on the path of terrorism and is hurting Lebanon's ability to reach an agreement on a maritime border. Israel firmly opposes international efforts to revive the Iran nuclear accord. Israeli officials fear that giving Iran sanctions relief in exchange for curbs on its nuclear activities could allow Tehran to boost funding to Hezbollah. WION's correspondent Jody Cohen spoke to former Israeli ambassador to France, Daniel Sheikh, who decoded the Israeli Prime Minister's visit to the country.
Ambassador Sheikh, thank you for speaking with WION. Now, can you tell us just how crucial this visit is as Lapid's first trip abroad as Israel's new interim Prime Minister, and why France?
Well, it sort of fell into his lap, and luckily for him, it was a trip that was planned for his predecessor, Naftali Bennett. In the meantime, they changed seats. So he's now in the driver's seat of the Prime Minister's office, and he's going, the usual destination for a first overseas trip for an Israeli Prime Minister is Washington. But since President Biden is due to land here in a couple of weeks, that has become redundant. So just as well to go to the second best, which is France. And it's second best, it's maybe the best, even for him personally, because he's known President Macron for a long time, and they have a very, very friendly relationship.